Welcome to our daily market update. It's Friday the 27th of March. My name is Chris Marshall, Head of Investment Strategy here at Dragon Investment Managers. Today I want to cover off some of the policy, economic and market data that we've seen over the past week, summarise some of the things and developments that we've seen going on rather than just concentrate on the developments of the past 24 hours as I have been doing in previous daily market updates. Of course, coming into this week, we saw the most rapid, the fastest paced decline in markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Index posted a 30% drop in 22 days, which set an all-time historical record. To put this in comparison of the speed that the sell-off we've seen, if we compare this to 2007-2008 great financial crisis, the 30% drop that we saw there actually took 250 days opposed to the 22 days that we've seen this time round. The bizarre and highly volatile nature of markets has actually seen the last 3 days confirm that the Dow is now technically in a bull market. That's a 20% rise from the bottom. Although I wouldn't say that the rises we're seeing here are an indication that market volatility is over or that this is necessarily a bottom to the market. In fact, if we look back through history, typically markets would tell us and teach us that rarely do we see this as the end of the sell-off. We would expect a little bit more to come through, certainly as perhaps we see worsening economic data, which is inevitably going to come through from this period of extended shutdown while we try and contain virus spreading just to simply allow our current medical infrastructure to cope. If we look to the UK, of course, yesterday we saw the Chancellor come out with extended fiscal measures which would support the self-employed. The current measures, or the ones announced last Friday, of course, really only were adequate for those operating through the PAYE. And so these new measures, of course, offer similar fiscal benefits to those who are self-employed. Unfortunately, we've also seen a massive and exponential rise in coronavirus cases around the world. The US seeing double-digit percentage gains in the past 24 hours. For us, we continue to run a fairly defensive portfolio. We have, over the past 7 days, as we saw markets hit low valuations, deployed some cash. And it's pleasing to see that on the bounce over the last few days, we have of course seen some nice increases in some of those positions that we took at the bottom. Some of the places that we have deployed cash to included mainland Europe, where we saw valuations really very pessimistic and believed that we'd seen an over-sell-off. As I said, we're not expecting this to be the absolute bottom of the market, but we are taking opportunities as they arise. In terms of taking some optimism from the situation, of course, the economic situation and the health situation is very dire indeed. I think we can be optimistic that central banks and policymakers are doing all they can to really keep the economy in a state of suspended isolation while the virus is tried to be kept under control, and we try to reduce that curve on medical stress, really. From looking and totting up kind of what has been done, we arrive at a figure of fiscal and monetary measures which now total around 16 trillion US dollars. This equates to just under about 20% of world GDP. And they are huge measures. As I said, the reason that this is happening, of course, if monetary and fiscal policy can keep businesses going, remember going into this we had a far healthier economy than we did going into the great financial crisis, then there is every reason that when the virus fears and contagion recede, of course we can bounce back quite quickly. The initial jobless claims figures came out yesterday, which we were very interested in. The consensus going into it was that there would be around 1 million. This actually came out at 3.2 million. And I don't think that this really showed the full picture, because we had been receiving reports throughout the week that many people who had wanted to sign up for unemployment benefits actually couldn't get through the system because the system wasn't able to cope with the volume. So I would expect for this to increase next week as well, and really just kind of continue to show the true economic impact that government shutdowns and the coronavirus is having on the real economy. In terms of other places where we see developments, it's very encouraging that we continue to see governments bringing in expertise from various industries. We have, of course, seen many industries retooling to help support the coronavirus efforts. These, of course, in the UK include companies such as Dyson, who we mentioned yesterday, but also other manufacturers such as Airbus, Nissan, who are all contributing towards the ventilator requirement that the government believes we will need. From other places around the world, we are seeing fashion labels such as Zara contribute to making face masks, which of course are necessary in medical situations. We have also seen the White House bring together tech companies, including Amazon, Google and IBM, in an assistance to epidemiologists and laboratories around the world to deliver higher power supercomputing powers, which reduce the time of modelling, reduce the time of finding, hopefully, a solution to this viral problem. We continue to run our portfolios on a fairly defensive stance. Within balanced portfolios, we are sitting on around 15% cash at this point. We also have some very liquid assets within the portfolio. I believe that the positions that we have been taking up over the past 7 days, we have deployed a little bit of cash now into areas which we believe are well worth the risk-reward payoff for our customers and clients. These are already showing signs of some positive territory since their purchase. And additionally, it's encouraging to see that some of the places of illiquidity that we saw in markets last week have to some extent shown signs of more healthy levels of liquidity following central bank action around the world.